to Munda Makeover.
We have traveled all over Zambia to find hardworking farmers.
We want to share their success stories.
And where there are challenges, we will bring experts to help them gain the extra knowledge they need.
So they can adapt and make their farms more productive even while the climate changes.
We want to support them to get better yields.
And increase their income.
We will see how farmers from across the country can benefit from our experts' advice.
While also learning from each other in so many ways.
Join us on these journeys and share in the farmers' experiences as they improve their farms.
On Munda Makeover!
Welcome to the Kafue River.
This week, we've put together a special episode for you with not one, but two double features.
One on the land
And one on the water.
we're going to be digging up,
And diving down,
understand two really important areas of farming.
I'm going to dive deep into the depths of fish farming.
While I'm going to be digging up the secrets of getting a proper maize harvest. I hope you can swim, Cozy. Woo!
Well, fortunately, helping us swim all the way through this journey we're taking into the secrets of farming on land and water is farmer Vincent Zgambo.
And Vincent is not only building up his farm, he's building a new house too.
Vincent's farm borders the beautiful Kafue River and covers 6 acres close to Kafue Bridge in Lusaka province.
Let's go meet him.
Yo, hello! Good morning. What's happening here? What are you up to?
We are now preparing our house where we live.
Okay.
Sadly, we are not here for the construction.
Yeah, but maybe we can help you in the field.
Our major activity is actually maize growing,
Okay.
Fantastic.
then fish farming.
Oh, great.
But we have some experts that are going to help you on the maize and on the fish ponds as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you allow us, we will disappear now, go and meet with our experts so we can bring them.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
I was excited because by the name itself, Munda, it gave me a conviction that they must have a lot of other ways of assisting small-scale farmers like myself.
If you think once you've dug your fish pond, filled it up with water, and stocked up on fish, then most of your main work is done. All you have to do is throw in some fish feed and wait for it to reach market weight. If that's what you think, then you'd be wrong. Because although fish farming can be a very profitable business, you will only succeed if you make sure the water quality is good. So we've invited Mike Oshaka from Zambika to tell us how good water quality leads to growing big, healthy fish. How important is water quality?
Water quality is very critical in aquaculture because with poor quality of water, it's going to affect the growth of your fish in many ways.
Right.
So you do not want water which is polluted, you do not want water which has other aquatic animals.
Where did you get your water? What is the source of your water that you have in your ponds?
Our source of water at this farm is from the river.
Right.
So as we get the water from the river, we ensure that we cover the point where the section where the water is coming
Right.
from with a net,
Right.
so that we're not drawing in the fish from the river into the ponds.
I see.
You do not want to mix the fish from the rivers, from the wild, with the one which you are culturing.
I see.
We recommend the farmers to set their ponds close either to a stream, close to a river, where they can easily access water. So we have to test the water for good culturing of the fish.
There are several tests to check your water. The first is to see how cloudy the water is. This is called turbidity and shows if the water is healthy. Place your hand in the water up to the level of your elbow. If your hand is hard to see, then that shows it's good. For the other tests, use water meters. These can be purchased from your fish supplier, or ask your supplier to come and test for you. The test should be done weekly and include oxygen level. This should be above 2 milligrams per liter, above 5 milligrams is best. Water pH or acidity level. This should read between 6.5 to 7.5. Temperature. This should be between 27 and 35 degrees Celsius. And ammonia, which should not exceed 2 parts per million. If your tests are outside these ranges, your fish supplier can advise on the best solution. One of the major causes of poor water quality is overfeeding.
If you are overfeeding or you are throwing a lot of feed into the water, the fish is not going to eat all of that feed. That feed is just going to go to waste.
If there's too much food, the leftovers turn into ammonia, which is toxic and poisonous to the fish.
It will mean that it might even cause sudden death of the fish. So you do not want that to be happening. So as a result, make sure that you follow the feeding guide.
Correct feeding requires the frequent checking of fish weight. Catch some sample fish every week and weigh them to find out how much to feed each day. For example, using the chart to help guide you. If the fish weigh on average 50 grams each, then feed them 15% of their body weight multiplied by the number of fish. So 15% of 50 is 7.5. Then multiply this by your fish stock. Say that's 1,000 fish. This gives you a total of 7.5 kilos of feed per day. Different sizes of fish need different sizes of feed pellets. For example, fish between 10 and 70 grams should have a feed size of 2 millimeters. Wow, this sounds complicated. So, how can farmers keep track?
So this brings me to also keeping over records. Yes, you're right. The dissolved oxygen in the water, the temperature, and the pH, even the amount of feed also that we put daily.
Fantastic.
So it is very, very important to record all these things. Then the other issue, it's biosecurity, to make sure that you prevent either the spread of diseases from other farms or just from people. So there should be some form of restriction to where the ponds are. You do not just want any person to enter into your farm. No. And then also you have to make sure that you prevent predation.
Of course.
So you put maybe a fence, and also to prevent the beds, obviously. There's a specific net which you would put on top of the pond.
My observation has been is that we have a lot of predators, particularly from birds.
Right.
The kingfisher and this other one which swims, it looks like a duck. Family of them will come here, particularly in the very early morning hours of the day.
How would you like us as Munda Makeover help you put in some measures to prevent these predators?
The first one for me, I think, would be covering it with a net.
Oh yeah,
Right.
an enclosure
I think
of the
that's, it looks impossible for me to do at the moment.
We actually will be able to do that for you.
Oh, that's very good. I think my family will be very excited.
net. Oh yeah,
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we've monitored our fish, we've kept our water clean, we've fed them, and now they are the right weight for harvest. But how do we get 2,500 fish out of a 20 by 15 meter pond? And how do we get them to market without them spoiling? And where do we sell them? But don't panic. That is what I'm going to find out next.
So the netting of the fish ponds, for us, that will actually provide a big advantage to ensuring that we get the best from what we put in. We lose a lot of fingerings when they're young from the beds than when they grow bigger.
Never leave your fish alone for long periods, especially when they are small. Adding a net not only stops birds from stealing the fish, it means farmers don't have to spend all day standing guard over the pond. Okay, so as our Munda Makeover team get to work on placing nets over the fish pond to stop the bird attacks, I'm going to find out more about harvesting and markets. So we're off to visit a fish farm nearby. They have 2,000 fish ready for harvest. Good. And here's the fishing net to catch the fish. This will be a great lesson for Vincent, so he knows what to do when his fish are ready for market.
For me, it's the first time actually that I've seen a fellow farmer
Me too.
harvesting. It's impressive.
Great.
I wish it were mine.
So congratulations, by the way. It's looking very good. So what is the first thing I need to be thinking about when I want to start the process of harvesting my fish?
You have to think of when you harvest the fish, where is it going to go? You might know it is highly perishable. The moment you remove it out of the water, it will start getting bad.
Yeah.
So it has to be taken quickly to the market. So the first thing is you contact your customers, your clients, and then that is going to inform you even the amount of fish which you are going to remove from the pond, because you can harvest the entire pond, but at the end of the day, maybe only 2-3 people come and buy, and then the rest goes bad.
So remember, fish farmers, before harvesting, contact your customers and find out how many fish they need to be harvested. Next, make the arrangements to get the fish to the buyers as quickly as possible. Once we've secured our market, how do we go about harvesting the fish?
The draining of water is the first thing. So you drain the water a little bit below knee level.
So drain the water from the outlet pipe that runs under the dikes at the deep end of the pond. Leave about 60 centimeters of water in the pond, about knee height, so the fish don't die.
And then now you line up the people who are going to help you. They drag the net.
So similar to the process we've been
Similar
witnessing.
what we've been witnessing
great.
there, yes.
Makes sense? Well, let's break it down and take a deep dive down to the details. Once the water is at knee height, then stretch a net across the pond from one side to the other, also making sure it reaches from the top of the water to the bottom of the pond. Then slowly drag it from one end to the other towards the collection point on the far corner. The fish are then removed and placed into crates, ready for the next stage. If you are removing all the fish, then dragging the net can be repeated 3 or 4 times to make sure all the fish are caught.
So once that is done, you put it in the crates, and then now the fish has to be washed, because mostly it is dirty with the mud, because these are earthen ponds.
So what is the first thing that we're doing to ensure that our fish does not start to go off as soon as we finish washing it?
As you are packing it into the crates, you're supposed to be putting ice, because ice is going to keep it in good shape and also to avoid rotting or going bad.
Right.
Apart from that, it has to be weighed. You write it down, and then you put into either the truck which you've come to take it to either to the cold room or direct to the customers who are buying the fish. It is supposed to be a refrigerated truck, because you do not want your fish to get spoiled along the way. So the temperatures has to be kept at a minimum level. So once you've done that, now you take it either to the cold facility, which is going to cool it a little bit more than the ice which you have put, and then now you sell it to the customer. So the cold chain process is supposed to be managed very well. Because once you lose that, even after having a very good harvest, you might end up making a loss because your fish went bad, you did not take it care properly after harvesting. So it is very critical.
But how do farmers gain access to this cold chain?
So as Zambika, we have that, and all the farmers that we are working with, they know that once the fish is ready for harvesting, they contact us. Therefore, we transport the fish from the farmers to the selling point. Yes, and we have the selling.
Where do I sign up, Shaka? Because if you're offering all of these services, Mr. Zgambo and I are ready.
It will encourage us actually to continue growing fish.
Of course.
On our way to getting to successful fish farmers.
Sounding good, Shaka. Thank you very much as always. Now let's get back on dry land and see what Vikacha has been digging up for us.
Climate change and unpredictable weather is one of the biggest challenges farmers face. And it's not just because of the lack of the rains or floods. A changing climate can bring new pests and diseases too. So we've invited Michael Perry from Zari to come and explain how farmers can adapt to a changing climate. Soil testing is one of the most important things you can do. But before we discuss planting, I wanted to know if Vincent has experienced challenges with the climate.
We do have challenges arising from the climatic conditions. One of them is that I think our rainfall season has sort of shortened. Yes, and there is also too much heat. So that shortens the growing period of many crops.
Rains now are unpredictable, and that has brought a lot of difficulties.
What tactics do you think farmers are supposed to adopt in order to deal with the situations, the challenges that are coming with the climate change?
We call it climate smart technologies. On a farm like this one, you don't have to rely on one method. That is a rain-fed crop. No. Come up with a drip irrigation like we can see, meaning you can farm the whole year round. Different crops, vegetables, and also the practice of crop rotation. Very important because it increases the nutrition of the soil and also reduce on the incidences of the pest and disease. Yeah.
On that note, does it mean that also the choice of seed is important?
Very important. Choice of seed. And where do you get this seed? Make sure you get certified seed.
Right.
Zari has developed maize varieties that are drought tolerant.
Nice.
Not only that, they are also heat tolerant, low nitrogen efficiency, where a farmer, even if the soil does not have that nutrition, these varieties will be able to give the farmer at least something.
What kind of seed would you recommend?
So if you see varieties that are in 700 series, those are late maturing. The 600 series are medium maturing varieties. 400 and 500 early maturing. 300 series are extra early maturing. So once we develop these varieties, we license to seed companies. And these are the seed companies that does now the multiplication of this seed, marketing and distributing, bringing it closer to the farmer's door.
What is the name of the seed variety that would actually grow for our?
Today I've come with a medium maturing variety. It's called AF635.
AF635.
This is a drought tolerant maize variety that was developed by Zambia Agricultural Research Institute, marketed by AfriSeed. Yes.
Okay. Should we go and see it and also see how it's planted?
Yes, we can do that.
Lead us.
Please, let's take this way. We go this way.
Certified seeds are expensive, but they guarantee a bigger harvest. Michael has recommended we plant AF635 as this will grow well in Lusaka province. But remember, farmers, different climate regions are suited to different seeds. So make sure you choose a variety that will grow well in your area.
I would advise you, once you do soil testing, you will know exactly what elements are in the soil.
Okay.
What elements I need to add?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Space your maize 75 centimeters from row to row and 25 centimeters from plant to plant.
Now, because of climate change, farmers have resorted to just reaping.
Yes.
And that reaping, you are like harvesting water into drip line.
Okay.
In this case, we shall use basin, the planting hose.
Okay. Vincent already has his land plowed, but when using rip lines or planting basins as Michael recommends, plowing is not advised.
1 seed per hoe.
Certified seed is guaranteed to germinate, so you only need 1 seed per hoe. The correct spacing and using just 1 seed will make sure the plants don't fight each other for nutrients and moisture. Put the recommended planting fertilizer based on your soil test report. You only need 1 bottle top, which is 5 grams per hoe. Add 1 handful of manure and mix well with the fertilizer and the soil to avoid burning the seed. Finally, take your AF635 drought-resistant certified seed and place 1 seed per hoe. Then cover with soil.
There's something that I took for granted on how to plant maize. In the past, I think we would plant maize first, then apply fertilizer later. So it's important that you plant it at the same time and the seed will come out with a lot of energy. I also become a small teacher in that direction to share similar information about a wrong concept that I had before.
Okay, Mr. Michael, I understand there's something else you need to talk about today.
What
The
is it?
feared for armyworm.
Oh,
yeah.
One of
So
our biggest threats.
let's go.
So we've seen how drought and heat-tolerant maize varieties can help farmers fight climate change. But what about the pests? Well, Zari will soon be releasing a new maize variety that is tolerant to the dreaded 4 armyworm. But until it's available, what other options do farmers have?
Because of climate change, you find that most of the insects actually, the pests, the life cycle has reduced, thereby increasing their population rapidly because of the temperature changes. So the worms hatch and then they start feeding on your young crop.
Okay.
So pay attention, do scouting, you check any signs of damage, especially on the leaves, to say, yes, this is the 4 armyworm. Currently, what is on the ground is the use of pesticides and some contact insecticides, whereby their action is by contacting the pest itself once you spray.
Vincent has a young maize crop that will be perfect to demonstrate on how to correctly spray against the notorious 4 armyworm.
Now, before we do the spraying, safety, very important. The one who is going to do the application of the chemical in the field has to be protected from these hazardous chemicals. That's the work suit,
Okay.
the gumboot,
Okay.
the gloves,
All right.
there is sprayer, goggles, then you are good.
Okay, it's a whole swag, eh?
So you need to have a knapsack sprayer.
Okay.
You need to have a container of water and also the chemical. First, understand what the chemical instructions are. On the label, what rate are you going to put in this 16-liter sprayer? Then we are going to half fill our knapsack sprayer with water. Like the way it is half filled with water. Add in the chemical. This is a measuring cup, 50 milliliter measuring cup. In this case, our chemical is saying we should add 20 mils of our chemical in 16 liters of water. And then add to our half-filled 16 liters with water. Make sure your measuring cup is well rinsed with water.
Okay, so you make sure the cleaning is done from there.
Yes.
But all the chemical remains in the drops.
Yes, exactly. And then close it tightly and then shake. Open and then fill up with water up to the mark of 16 liters. Okay, and then you shake again. This is to make sure that your chemical and water is thoroughly mixed. Then you are good to spray.
When spraying, make sure that the nozzle is 30 centimeters or a foot from the ground and move in a steady way along the crop. And that's it. Our maize is now protected from the 4 armyworm and we expect a bumper harvest. And look, the net over the pond is finally up. The fish are now protected from the bird attacks.
Farming is a business. We have seen people that have lived on the farms very successful lives. With farming, you can have an opportunity to diversify your investment into other areas. With capital coming from agriculture, from the knowledge that I've gained after this visit, there are a lot of areas that I will certainly make an improvement. I will aim to perform better than I've done in the past.
Well, on that note, we will see you next week
On another episode of
Munda Makeover!